mutated whale carcass and thousands of souls will merge with the red-faced slayer.
I love stories about body horror, the idea of humanity transforming and contorting into grotesque and unrecognizable forms. It plays into our human fears surrounding self-image and a primal and uncanny fear of those who look like us, but you can tell there's something sinister about it. Sometimes body horror can lead to stories about human perspectives that no matter what forms we take, it's our hearts and souls that truly make us human. However, what if that wasn't the case? What if body horror was used as a medium to tell a story about human cruelty, a story that explores the horrors humanity can bring upon itself? This is the world of Godzilla Bloodbath, created by the YouTube channel Apricottle Animation. Godzilla Bloodbath explores a darker and more violent version of Godzilla, one that, is much more bloody and destructive than any version we've seen. Akin to films like The Thing, Shin Godzilla, and Godzilla GMK, Bloodbath is a story of revenge about how human violence can bring upon the destruction of life, especially when you don't acknowledge the horrors of the past. Our story begins sometime before or during World War II. A whale near the coast of Japan is hunted by a group of whalers who impaled the animal with hooks and likely took what they came for, like blubber and oil. After they were done, the whale beached onto a nearby island where its corpse would rot for an unknown amount of time. Cut to the end of World War II. Japan, who's still actively fighting the United States, are forced to surrender when the US bombs Hiroshima and Nagasaki with 2 atomic bombs. The destruction is devastating and many lives are lost in the process. However, the people of Japan persevere through this great tragedy and make the effort to rebuild their lives. They've suffered through a horrific event, but they'll survive and thrive for years to come. Sometimes you can overcome tragedy, but the echoes of despair don't vanish quite so easily. Upon the beach where the whale rested, now irradiated and mutated from the nuclear fallout, the souls of those killed during the bombings don't rest. Instead, they proliferate and combine into the corpse. Like the whale left to rot over the years, the souls of those killed understand the pain of being left behind. The souls are also beached, unable to enter the afterlife. They all combine and enter into the whale's body, and over time, this corpse, this rot of flesh, transforms and contorts into a strange humanoid-like body, the body of Godzilla. Godzilla here is not a traditional reptile or prehistoric creature like we're used to in a majority of media. Instead, it's literally a hunk of rotting flesh that is contorted into a semblance of a humanoid body, puppeted by the vengeful spirits of the dead. This idea of Godzilla being an avatar of vengeance is similar to how he was depicted in Godzilla GMK, who in this iteration is also inhabited by the souls of those who died during World War II, who are angry for Japan's refusal to acknowledge the past. However, unlike Godzilla GMK, Bloodbath Godzilla is much more visceral and animalistic. It's worth noting that Bloodbath Godzilla is actually quite intelligent, so its raw violence and malevolence is born out of malice of the souls residing within it. You can tell by looking into its eyes that this creature has lost all forms of human empathy and is now a hollow husk driven by a pure instinct to kill. Godzilla is a force of nature, someone who seeks destruction and death wherever it goes. Godzilla here looks like a god of death, enhanced by the fact that Godzilla is seemingly undead in some way, as in this video we see him vomit out his internal organs so it can activate its atomic breath, which destroys everything in its path. This is even worse, considering that Godzilla has the capacity to rapidly regenerate any damage it sustains. Similar to other Godzilla stories like Godzilla Black Mass and Shin Godzilla, the very existence of Godzilla distorts and mutates the world around it. According to the Bloodbath trailer, it seems Godzilla has the ability to grotesquely mutate the humans who become exposed to Godzilla's atomic breath, transforming them into a grotesque and monstrous version of themselves. I know you're wondering if Godzilla Bloodbath exists within a wider universe, one where other kaiju roam. Well, they do, but not in the way you expect. According to videos by Apricottle Animations, the other kaiju in this verse are intrinsically tied to Godzilla's existence. It seems while Godzilla can mutate the humans around him, there are times when a human goes through a more extreme transformation. The humans appear to grow significant in size. Their features and bones contort, and their flesh molds and melts in disgusting ways. All these transformations come together to turn the human into this universe's version of the kaiju. King Ghidorah is a bloated human with 3 distorted heads, and characters like Gigan look horrific. It's an interesting and different take on the wider monsterverse, one that calls back to iconic body horror stories like The Thing and All Tomorrows, helping this Godzilla story to be one of the most terrifying I've ever seen. Currently, Godzilla Bloodbath is an ongoing story with more material set to release in the coming months. The plot and premise is very intriguing, and I'm curious as to how the story will continue to unfold. I implore you to check out the story for yourself.